I did my controversial book project on his dark materials. I had originally picked Golden Compass, but when I started researching that as a controversial book, really his other books were included because this is a 3-book series. So his Dark Materials is a trilogy of fantasy novels written by Philip Pullman. The trilogy includes Northern Lights, which was published as The Golden Compass in North America in 1995, The Subtle Knife in 1997, and The Amber Spyglass in 2000. The series follows 2 children, Lyra Belacqua and Will Perry, as they navigate a series of parallel worlds. The series includes fantasy elements such as magic, mythical creatures, as well as alluding to ideas of philosophy and theology. The 3 novels have also won awards. The Amber Spyglass won the Whitbread Book of the Year Award in 2001, and Northern Lights, or The Golden Compass, won the Carnegie Medal for Fiction in the United Kingdom in 1995. It's also been an ALA Top 10 Best Book for Young Adults in 1997, and the trilogy took 3rd place in the BBC's Big Read poll in 2003. The series is marketed toward young adults, however, it is also intended to entertain older adults as well. Pullman has also published 2 short stories related to his Dark Materials trilogy. Those are Lyra's Oxford, written in 2003, and Once Upon a Time in the North, written in 2008. And he is also working on a companion book to the trilogy called The Book of Dust. The books have also been adapted to stage and film. In 2003, the National Theatre in London staged a 2-part adaptation of the series. In 2007, The Golden Compass was released in theaters by New Line Cinemas. Golden Compass, number 4 on the top 10 challenge books of 2008. This is from the newsletter on intellectual freedom. The reasons were religious viewpoints, his Dark Materials series number 2 on top 10 challenge books of 2009, violence, political viewpoints, and religious viewpoints. So I was asked to review 5 articles and summarize 3, and those were the 5 articles, 5 book reviews. So my first book review is titled His Dark Theories Trilogy. It was written by C.A. Wolski. His Dark Materials series by Philip Pullman is not only an epic fantasy adventure, but it also addresses important issues for both adolescents and adults. Pullman, who is an outspoken atheist, utilizes these series to attack organized religion. However, still having a spiritual quality in his writings, at the same time presenting his ontological views on both existence and the nature of mankind. Some disappointments were the climactic conflict occupies only a very small part of the final novel and is only partially resolved via a great battle between good and evil. Other elements that will disappoint some readers is that Lyra and Will's final choice is a sacrifice of sorts, but one that is made with their eyes wide open and in a fully reasoned and rational way. Despite these disappointing elements in the series, it is an intriguing high-adventure story that rewards on many levels. So book review number 2 of his Dark Materials trilogy is by Pete Beer. Pullman's series, His Dark Materials. Christian parents need to be aware of Pullman's attempts to proselytize children into atheism. The universe that Pullman creates in this series directly contradicts steadfast beliefs of Catholics and Protestants alike. Pullman corrupts the young reader into believing that theological differences are meaningless among Christians. Christianity itself is oppressive. The stories are filled with adultery and murder. The Christian believes that to enter the kingdom of God, we have to have faith like children. However, in these stories, children are kidnapped, drugged, murdered, mutilated, abandoned, and used for occult scientific experiments in which they are severed from the soul. These actions are usually carried out by the church blessings. These pale in comparison to the central plot of the story that God is a liar and he is not the creator of all. However, he was created first and led the angels after him to believe he was the ultimate creator. In the end, God's kingdom is overthrown by the main character, and Catholic parents should avoid these series lest their children be corrupted by Pullman's message. So in the children's catalog, I went to two sources near to me. I went to the University of Montevallo Carmichael Library, and they had the 15th and 19th editions, and then 3 supplements to the 19th edition. And I found no information on Pullman's trilogy. However, he was mentioned with some other books that he wrote. And then I went to the Madison County Libraries, and they had the 18th edition. And again, the trilogy was not mentioned in that edition as well. So addressing parents and teachers. Tips on how to handle a parent or teacher who believes that a book should be removed from the library. I chose to do it in tip format because every situation is going to be different. And these are just some guidelines that you could use. You might use a few of them or you might use all of them. So always stay calm and upbeat. Don't be defensive. Don't make it personal. Listen. Really listen to their concerns and acknowledge them. Take time to consider their requests. Don't react. Really take time to think about the situation. Avoid library jargon. Talk about how the library serves all people. Parents are responsible to supervise their children. Present parents or teachers with library policies in writing. Find support for the book, awards, best book list, student reviews. Find support from colleagues or library organizations. Consider the situation. Was it required reading or student choice? Was the book read in its entirety by student, parent, or teacher before complaint? And have an outside party read and review the book. Form a committee to handle the complaint. Censorship and the Library School Media Center. Complaints concerning controversial books normally will fall into 2 categories. Requests oftentimes from teachers in the school concerning material that is out of date or does not align with the current curriculum. These requests are often settled quickly and with no problems. The second is complaints that arise from parents or other members of the communities. These are sometimes not as easily resolved and will require a set plan to resolve the complaint. Your first step, even before a complaint has been made, is developing and adhering to a media selection policy. When developing this policy, it is important to include all groups that will be affected by the policy. This includes library media staff, faculty, administration, students, and members of the community. Once you have developed your policy, then it should be approved by the district school board. Next, it is important to have a procedure in place on how to handle any complaints that may arise. The first step in a complaint that will not be handled quietly in-house is for the person to complete a citizen's request form for a reevaluation of learning resource center materials. After the form has been completed, then the library specialist can prepare information for the complainant to review. These include the selection policies for the school library media center, documentation of reviews, and recommendations. If the complainant still wants to continue, then the next step is to refer the matter to a media advisory committee. Members of the committee should include a teacher, library media specialist, central administrator, and 5 members of the community. The committee will review all information. This will include the request form filled out by the complainant, the school's media selection policy, and information gathered by the media specialist. The committee should also familiarize themselves with the Freedom to Read statement and the School Library Bill of Rights. Once the committee has made their decision, then it is sent to the superintendent for review. Usually on matters like this, the materialist question is given a time period in which the decision is enforced, as well as a time framed for appeals. In some cases, the complaints will be decided in the courts. And those are my references. Thank you so much.